So what we have here is a piece of 1/4-inch plate. It was cut with, I don't know what, with Sawzall or something at some point. So I took it to my mini mill and just put a flat edge on it. And then flipped it over and did the same thing to the other side so I can get a nice layout. But this is another one of the things that's going to speed this up is, you see how it's all rusty? Instead of cleaning 2 small pieces and trying to hold on to them, put them in a vise or whatever, I'm going to clean up this metal now, and while I've got something to hold on to at this end. Alright, we got the holes drilled, so now I'm going to deburr them. If you use these too fast, they tend to chatter. So now I'll pop these, grind these welds off, and I'll have my 2 brackets that I got to tack weld to my other adjustable height brackets. So, now you have a left and a right. So this is how the brackets will get put together. They'll get welded through here and here. You can see the bolt pattern is the same. So these were the 2 bottom holes for the brackets to meet the mower deck. And I didn't even bother, actually measuring and doing the layout because I already had these, so it was nice. I clamped these to the pieces, traced the hole out, then used the mini mill to mill these holes. So now these won't be used, these will be used, and that'll push the wheels back. So this would actually be, it's on the right side of your viewer, but this would be the left rear deck height adjustment pin, and this would be the right rear. Alright, so we finally got this thing back up on its own build. So as you can see, built these brackets. You can see that there's an angle on them. So there's actually a draft angle on this deck. So in order to pull these things out of the dies, they can't be perfectly square. So the deck actually has a taper. Each side right here kind of tips in at the top. So that's why these brackets aren't really on there straight. If you see, they're kind of in the middle up top and all the way out on the edge on the bottom. But it's up. And here's an idea of the dimension. Tape measures, it's about 27 inches or so long right now. And this is full height, and the cut depth should be about 4 inches from what I can tell. And what I'm looking to do now is figure out what I'm going to do with the front end before I get too much further with the back. So there comes this gem. So this is an Invacare, mobile assisted scooter chassis that these type of motors come off of. And what I want is these casters. And I'm going to take this section of tube as well. So basically I'm going to cut them somewhere in here. And then I'll have to clean off this stuff after. But what I'm thinking is the two of them, I'll have one welded here to the other one welded here. So I've got to figure out what's the narrowest width I can get and still get the caster to spin all the way around, and that'll determine my wheelbase. Here's an Invacare chassis. I'm going to cut it, I think, right here for now, and then I'll have to clean up this, take this piece off, but I'll weld two lengths of this together to create one arch for the front. So with a little creative grinding and a big hammer, we clean those brackets off. And I guess I'm going to leave these for now, because I may want to do something of that sort, but I'll leave them for now. This is the original version 1 frame, and this is really important to being able to steer this particular model, and I don't think I want to give it up. So instead of redoing this on the new model, I'm gonna actually cut this out of here and repurpose it in the new version, and I'll show you how I'm gonna do that. Alright, so here's how the second layout seems to be coming along. I got the front end cut off the other, just to show you from mock-up. I've got these laid out so the caster is the closest it's going to be to the deck, and I allowed a little bit of wiggle room, so if this were to pivot it wouldn't hit the deck here. And what I end up getting is an inch wider between here and the other wheel than the deck. So that's what I'm shooting for, and that should put them at about the same width as the rear wheels all the way out to the edge. So the fronts are actually going to stick out a little bit more than the rear, but that's going to be perfect. So basically this front end you see is laying down. It's going to get stood up and should be approximately here. So we might have about a 30-inch wheelbase on this one. Alright, so off camera I was able to deconstruct that front end of the other version 1 mower and steal this section out of it and cut it down, and then I trimmed these down to rough length and added them, welded them to the bracket. So now you can see what I'm going for here. That's essentially what we're looking at. So this shows you the front hoop kind of standing where I'd imagine it. Its wheelbase is roughly 30 inches, maybe 32, but that should be pretty good. It's a lot shorter than it was, so I think the wheelbase left to right is around 24 inches in the center, if I'm not mistaken, of the tires. So it's 24 inches center to center by roughly 32 center to center. And I could probably cut a couple inches off the length, but I don't think I'm too worried about it right now. Maybe next week I'll have more of this tied together. We'll see. Alright guys, I think this is where I'm going to end it for this week. I had some failure of a little shop bandsaw. The blade broke, so I had to run and get one, which burned up the rest of the light. Anyway, if you guys like what you see, please give me a thumbs up, like, comment, and subscribe. I plan on doing this until I can get this one done, and then we'll move on to other projects. I got plenty of other stuff to show you guys. It's just I'm really determined to finish this one up and get it ready so next season it's just up and ready. So I'll see you guys next week. See you then. I'm out.